Welcome to Motivation. I'm Ron Henderson, aka the Fitness King. Let me say it again because I love how that sounds. Aka the Fitness King. Folks, on today's show, we're going to be talking about new businesses and how people start their businesses. In fact, for the next 3 weeks, every single person I'm going to have on Motivation is going to be somebody that started their own business. On today's show, I'm fortunate to have the one and only Mr. Mark Skipper.
Hey, Ron.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing, man?
Pleasure. I'm always doing well. Okay. So before we get into your business, which I know you got a great business going, share a little bit with the audience your background. Where did you grow up? Where did Mr. Mark Skipper grow up? What was your childhood like? Just kind of briefly. Where did you graduate from? What school and all those kind of things, and family life a little bit.
Okay. Well, sit back for about 30 or 40 minutes on this. So my family is actually from the South, Mississippi and Arkansas. So I was born in this little town called Marianna. Family, the parents graduated from college. They moved to Detroit. So we lived in Detroit from about 65 through 77. Dad was in insurance work for a company called Equitable Life. Transferred us to Columbus, Ohio. And that's where I was throughout high school. Went to Ohio State University.
Okay, what did you major in there?
Majored in actually art education.
Really? Okay.
I pretty much the entire time I was growing up, I was really into drawing.
So you can draw?
I used to be able to.
Okay.
I haven't done enough of it, but yeah, I can.
Okay,
I can
so folks, new Fitness King logo coming soon.
and to be honest, in my family, it was just kind of an expectation. We're going to go on to college. No different than you're going to go to high school, you're going to go to college. Yeah. And I have to admit, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I knew that was something that I did well, I had an interest in. So I started out in art at the university, and then eventually went over to art education.
Really? So was your mom or dad, were they like artists too then? Because you said
they were not. My mother actually was a high school teacher.
Okay.
And then eventually became a counselor. And when we moved to Columbus, Ohio, and I have a sister that's 1 year younger than me, my mother was the teacher at the same high school.
Okay. That had to be fun. That had to be fun.
Well, I don't know if I call it fun, but she definitely was there. Anything that happened, she knew about it right away. So I mean, there was some fun having your mom there as far as other students. What is your mom going to say when? So it was fun from that standpoint.
Okay. So you're self-employed now. What is the first job that you ever remember actually having? Let's say even part-time. Let's say 20 hours a week.
Well, the first job I remember is when I was 13 years old. Like so many of us, I delivered newspapers. So I delivered newspapers in the neighborhood, and I was one of those kids that was always trying to figure out how to make money. So at 13, my parents never at that point had to purchase clothes or anything for me. So delivered newspapers. I did landscaping in one of the apartment complexes that was there in the area. I ended up working at a couple of fast food restaurants during that time. So
what fast food place did you work at?
Well, there's one place, I don't even know if it's still wrong. It's called Zantigo.
Okay, I was writing down here. I was trying to guess what the fast food place was. I was thinking it was Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Well, that wouldn't have been a bad place to work at the time. And I also worked and this was probably for a month or so, at Wendy's.
Okay.
Fast food, but that was my extent of the fast food. I didn't do the McDonald's thing like so many kids did at the time. But I mean, of course, that gave me a good idea of what it was like to get up and work every day.
Sure.
So I had a real respect for money because of that experience. I knew money didn't grow on trees. Yeah.
Okay. So the business you're in now. What's the name of the business that you're in now? And tell me how that all actually evolved. Just give me the whole history. How did you start?
Man, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot too.
Yeah.
So when I graduated from university, the Ohio State University, I started working with the Boy Scouts of America.
Okay.
My first job was in a small town in Indiana called Muncie.
Okay.
And most of us probably say, where is Muncie? Muncie is a company there called Ball Corporation. They make those jars that you put preservatives in, as well as Ball State University is located there.
Yes.
So I started working for the Boy Scouts there, and my role was to go out and talk to parents about scouting, to sell them on putting their kids in the program.
Okay.
So I had to do that. I also had to do marketing.
How old were you back then?
I was 23 years old when I first started.
But they hired you to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's because you're sharp.
Well, hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, that happened. There was a Boy Scout organization or council that was literally around the corner from where my parents lived.
Yeah.
So that was one of the places where I put a resume in, and one thing led to the next. The next thing I knew, I was heading to Muncie.
Wow.
Had never heard of Muncie before. Small town, about 80,000 people. But it was
Muncie?
Muncie.
Muncie, I've never heard of it either, yeah.
Yeah. But it was a great experience to get me started. It gave me an opportunity to talk to work with people that ordinarily I wouldn't have the opportunity to do that. And when I say, just give me the types of people, bank presidents, business owners, people ordinarily a 23-year-old just wouldn't have that opportunity. I spent a lot of my time recruiting them to do things for the Boy Scout organization. So I was there for about a year and a half, and then was transferred to Indianapolis, which you probably have heard of Indianapolis.
Of course, yeah.
And was there for about seven years. Third year being with the Boy Scouts, I moved from trying to convince parents to bring their kids into fundraising. So fundraising is a lot of relationship developing.
Yes.
And then at some point, asking people to make a financial investment in the organization. So the Boy Scouts was what brought me here to Minneapolis in 95.
95, okay.
95. I did it for 4 more years with the Boy Scouts, and then left and went to Dunwoody College, which is right here in downtown Minneapolis. Was with them for about 13 years. Eventually was over their entire fundraising operation.
All right.
And then I went through.
And do you still do fundraising for people?
I don't. I am a volunteer now. I'm actually on the board of the Boy Scouts of America, which this particular one that covers both Minneapolis and St. Paul.
So you like to volunteer?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, folks, I'm setting them up.
He's pretty good. Now, I'm an amateur, so you gotta steer me along right here.
Fitness King needs some volunteers.
Yeah. No, I love volunteering. Especially if it's an organization that I really understand and respect. And the Boy Scouts is one of those. I was in Scouting myself as a kid in Detroit. That's where I learned how to swim. I remember the Boy Scout leader taking about 50 of us, kids in the Detroit neighborhood that had no idea, did not know how to swim. He taught us how to do that. Had a lot of experiences that a lot of my other friends that were in the neighborhood didn't have because they weren't exposed to some of those things. Yeah.
I like it. On that note, folks, we're going to take a short break for public service announcement, but we'll be right back with motivation. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Bob Wilbanks with Ambassadors for Business. Today I'm here to talk about F words. And know that it's not the F words that you're thinking. It starts with building a foundation that's on the rock. And I think in order to do that, you need to be in the Word of God every single day. You've got to have that quiet time with our Lord and Savior. And then the second leg in that stool is small groups. Getting into a small group that you can be authentic with and get that encouragement and accountability that you need to keep grabbing for that next rung on your spiritual growth ladder. And then third leg of that stool is being involved in a local church. That gives you a solid foundation that you can build upon, that helps you find that focus in your life and connect with your purpose, your call, your passion. And once you find that, now you need to develop a filter for making your decisions based on all that. For me, my faith comes first, then my family. Those are number 1 and number 2. After that, depending on the season of life, the time of day, the F words down underneath there get all mixed up and jumbled up. It could be my finances, it could be my fitness, it could be my food, it could be fun, it could be friends. They all get jumbled up. So a lot of times what happens is I'll end up putting those first in my life and things start happening wrong. And that's when you need that framework adjustment. That's the last F in the F words, where it's just that reminder to get back to your foundation, find that focus, and get back on track with your filter.
Welcome back to Motivation. Ron Henderson, aka the Fitness King, with my guest, Mr. Mark Skipper. Mark, you were talking about how you basically, the jobs that you had. Okay, you're in the cleaning business now. How did that actually start? And just for the viewers and people sitting at home that maybe they thought about starting a business, maybe they want to do bakery, maybe they want to do cleaning, who knows? But give us the progression of that. Where did that all start to where you are now?
Sure. Actually, when I was in college, about to graduate, My father, as I shared earlier, worked for a big insurance company.
Yes.
He took a severance, and he and my mother purchased, at the time it was called mailboxes, etc., which today is called UPS stores.
Yes, wow.
From there, I always fantasized, wow, it'd be great to own my own business.
Yes.
As time went on, as I moved through my career, I was looking for opportunities to do some things on the side.
Yep.
One of those things I thought about was doing a cleaning business.
And why cleaning?
I thought because I didn't have an experience in that particular area, it was something that I could learn fast enough. So that was the main reason at the time. And eventually when I decided to actually do it, along with that, I thought I could market it a little different from what I had seen other businesses do. So I also had a fraternity brother who also had purchased a franchise, and that really got me interested. But time went on, and I decided I didn't have the time to do a little business on the side. We started going through some transition in one of the organizations I was working with. I decided to take a severance, just like my dad did.
Sure.
And I said that if there's a time for me to see if I can make something like this work, that was the time.
Yeah.
So that was back in 2012.
Okay.
So 2013, January 4th, 8:30 a.m. in the morning, is that when I went out in Maple Grove and started handing out Vistaprint business cards to companies that were in the area. And so that's when I consider I officially started.
For your business, so did you buy into the company? Were you like it was a franchise?
I started the business from scratch.
Okay, so you got your cards, but the business you had to have, you bought equipment and that stuff, right?
I did. I did.
Okay.
In this particular business, I mean, there's about 700 plus businesses or people out there doing some type of cleaning in the metro area. So there's a lot of competitors, and one of the reasons for that is the entry level is pretty low to get in.
Doesn't cost a lot to.
It doesn't cost a lot. I mean, this is a bit of an exaggeration, but a person could almost start with a bucket and a mop and a broom to get
Some
started.
And some Windex.
And some Windex.
Or Ivory
Or
cheaper.
actually just
cheaper.
It is cheaper, but
Yeah,
you could get started with just water and
yeah. Get the windows nice and clean.
get them nice and clean. Exactly. So I went out. I was the one that pretty much did everything. You know, I'm the one that during the day I'm marketing the business, and then at nighttime I had to go in and do the cleaning and keep up on all the promises I made in the daytime. I had to fulfill them at night.
Well, were you married at that time?
I was not married at the time. Yeah. So by myself. I was divorced, so my daughter was not there 24/7, which of course would have made it very difficult if that had been the case. So one of the key ways that I have built my clientele, my business, has been through referrals and face-to-face face marketing.
Right.
So I'm part of this organization. It's called Business Network International, and they have helped me significantly to open doors, introduce me to people that eventually have become my customers.
Yes. I've heard good things about, in fact, my last guest is associate too on BNI.
Okay.
So BNI seems to connect, certain types of business seem to do very well on BNI.
Yes, they certainly do. I cannot emphasize enough for anyone that's in a business where referrals make a big difference to you. This is one of probably the best organizations you can become a part of. Largest one in the world. Over $12 billion of business that they have passed over the past 12 months.
Wow.
I just look at me personally.
Right.
When I first became a part of it, which was 2 weeks after I started my business, over half of the customers that I have now, and right now it's just under 50 customers that we have in the Maple Grove and surrounding area. Over half of that's been because of the relationships I've developed through
Folks,
BNI.
on that note, we're closing motivation. I'm going to BNI. I'm going to BNI.
I mean, it's great from the standpoint, most of us were not born already knowing how to network.
Sure.
I mean, most of us have been to a network event and it's basically just kind of dishing out these business cards. You take them back to your office, you sit on the desk and you never look at it anymore. Well, there's a lot of educational opportunities that really teaches you how do I help you think about people you know that would be a fantastic referral for. But the whole organization, the philosophy is what's called Giver's Gain. And we hear this at church. It's helping other people. Put your focus on helping other people to be successful, and it's going to come back to you. And I have found that to be the case in BNI. People just want to help you after you've helped them.
Amen. So who was your first client that you got, your first cleaning job that you got with your
The
new
very
cars
first-
that you handed out? Yeah.
Yeah, the very first customer that I had, and still a customer of mine.
I figured that too.
They are financial advisors.
Okay. Yep.
And it's I guess it's okay for me to say the company's name.
Oh yeah, of course. On Motivation, we promote everybody.
That's right. A great company called PRG Financial. Yeah.
Cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah. So they took a chance with me and allowed me to come in, and as I said, has been a great customer of mine.
So let me ask you a question. And you mentioned this earlier, Mark. You said there's so many people out there actually in the cleaning business. It's the kind of business that typically a person can just get a mop, maybe some Windex, or as you would say, some vinegar and water, okay, and actually get cleaning jobs. So the competition is high. What actually sets your company ahead of some of these other people? Why do people actually choose and go with you? Can you share with us what are the different things that you're doing and why you feel that people actually are with you? Because I know you're doing very well, so there's got to be something that you are doing better than most companies, and share it with my audience.
Well, I believe that people like doing business with people that they like and they trust. So I just started at the very beginning. High touch relationships was going to be the key way that I was going to build my business. So the first step was to help people to feel comfortable with me personally. That they're dealing with somebody that was honest.
Right. Okay.
You know, I was in the Boy Scouts, so you can
Okay.
trust me, right? As well.
Maybe with the Boy Scouts, maybe. I don't know about it.
Were you in the Scouts?
No way.
Oh,
no.
you should have
I heard
been.
too much
You
bad
should have
about
been.
Boy Scout, yeah. I was in Awana.
You was-
That's
okay.
as I got.
Okay, that's a good organization.
Church, Awana.
It's a good organization.
Okay,
Well,
so you get people to trust you.
yeah, one, get people to trust
Yeah,
me,
which
and
is
then
important.
have to follow through on the things that I say.
Right.
That was the second thing. Another thing that I do is I try to pay attention to each of my companies of things that happen within their company that's noteworthy. They might recognize them.
Sure.
So one of the things that I do is when something significant happens, I'll bring in a chocolate cake
Right.
to that company. And once again, just something for them to think that's a little different from other cleaners.
Sure. Something significant, like what, as an example?
Like for instance, one of my customers, they moved from a much smaller facility to a larger facility because their business was doing much better. They were growing. So that was an opportunity for me to say, hey, I recognize the achievements that you made. We're thinking about you. We want to be seen as your partner. Congratulations.
Right.
So those are the types of things that just doing something a little bit different than usual.
Okay.
Also, being professional in responding to customers.
Right.
One of the things that I had always heard about small business people is that a lot of times you'll contact them
Right.
and they won't return your call.
Oh yeah.
Or there's a problem and they won't return your call. So I put a big emphasis that day when I'm contacted is to follow up that particular day. And then as I said, just the whole networking piece and being visible in the Maple Grove area, I think has contributed to being able to stand out a lot more from a lot of companies.
Okay. Now, do your cleaners, do they wear like with a vest and tie and stuff? Because I noticed on your business card, you got a very striking business card.
Thank you.
Is that how they go to work or what?
I haven't figured out how to do that yet. No, they don't. But I would love to have them go in with the suit and tie.
Okay. How'd you come up with that concept?
How did I come up with it? Well, it was actually Vistaprint.
Okay.
I was just looking through business cards with Vistaprint, and they had this business card that had this guy, black and striped tie, and a half of a suit. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay.
So I used that, and then I had a designer take it to make it more of my personality.
Because that's kind of your trademark look. Right.
That is the trademark.
Yes.
And that's how I came up with the business card. Because what happened, and I found it happen, I would hand people my business card. They would take the card, they would look at it, and they say, "That's what you have on right now," and then that would lead into conversation. So it became a way for the kind of relaxed people for us to have conversation.
Right.
Yeah. Typically, this is how I dress all during the day. Same thing. Heavy emphasis on branding.
Right.
I was leaving the building in Brooklyn Park a few years ago, and this woman just stopped, and she looked at me and said, "You're that cleaning guy, aren't you?"
Okay.
Why? This is what I had on,
Yep.
and I just have worked very hard just branding to everyone's head.
Right.
He's the guy in the black suit and the black and white striped tie. And one of the things that I believe significantly is that your appearance makes a difference.
Right.
Forbes magazine says that in just 7 seconds, people will see you and would develop an impression with you and decide whether they like you or not, if they want to do business with you or not.
I agree.
And I just have seen that throughout my career. That makes a big difference.
Right. I think it's wise because in fact, I talk about this a lot of times. I will mention this when I'm speaking. They say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but the reality is we all do.
That's exactly what we do.
The reality is we do. You come in for a job, if your pants are sagging, if you're not well groomed, but yet you're working in a business where people need to be real clean, that person's probably less likely to be hired because there's so much competition out there. And with your business, like you were talking about earlier, there's so many people that are doing it. So how do you maintain good people with that? Because I mean, it seems like everybody's looking for workers.
Yeah. So I just started 3 years ago bringing people on to work with me, and I have to admit it's been a challenge. This particular industry has a very high turnover rate, very high turnover rate, and I now have I've found some good people, and initially the way I started was through people that I know.
Right.
That they could recommend somebody who's looking for a part-time job. I've made some changes here recently as opposed to going for people just looking for a part-time job. And now I'm emphasizing more on people that have 2 to 3 years experience in cleaning. And I've had some fortunate good luck to find some real good people.
Right, good for you. Are you looking for any people right now as well?
Yes, I am definitely looking for people right now.
And who would they call?
They will contact me, and they can contact me by...
Can you give them the number?
I can. You can reach me at 763-575-7550. Or can send me an email to mskipper@masofficecleaners.com.
And what if they're looking for somebody maybe to come in like you to clean their business? Okay, same number they would contact?
Yeah, they would use the same number. Now, and our niche is primarily the northwest part of the metro.
Okay.
Maple Grove is our hub. Then Chaplin, Brooklyn Park, Plymouth, and Rogers are the 5 cities that we primarily market and focus on.
Right.
My goal is to saturate the city of Maple Grove.
Okay.
That whenever any business needs a cleaning service,
Right.
we're going to be one of the first companies that they think of.
Right. And I would assume, based on how you carry yourself and you speak very well, okay, that people would be drawn to you. And even me mentioning that, it brings to the fact that when I was actually researching you a little bit, Mark, I found out that you actually speak to us well. Can you share a little bit about what you do involving, where do you speak, and how did that come out actually? What got you involved in speaking?
Once again, I go back to my dad.
Okay.
About to graduate from college, we're standing in his driveway, he looks me in the eye, and he says, Mark, you need to join Toastmasters.
Okay, your dad told you that.
My dad told me that. So I didn't know how to take that. First of all, I didn't even know what Toastmasters was. Toastmasters, man, I don't need any help in fixing toast or whatever. Right. So he explained to me what it was.
The Tiger Master, he just won.
He did. He did. I've been seeing it all over Facebook as well. So that was my first exposure to at least what this Toastmaster was. Right. Because up until that point, I was petrified of standing up in front of people and opening my mouth.
Right.
And eventually I figured out I needed to figure out how to overcome that if I was going to be able to, at that time, maintain that first job I got with the Boy Scouts. So the more I did it, it began to push the fear away from me. And then there were probably a few years later when I first went to a Toastmasters meeting, which is a group of people come together on a weekly basis and you more or less practice.
How long ago was that?
That was back in the early 90s. So that was a long time ago. And that really helped me a lot. As I said, I had already gotten over the fear, but how
did you stay there consistently too all that time at Toastmasters?
No.
Okay.
No. I actually 2 different stints in Toastmasters. I did it for about 3 years. Then I got out for about 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a long time. And then I just got back in 2016. And it just has helped me a lot of being able to take out all those, what we call those filler words when you speak. And I'm still working on words like so, getting that out, but the ums and the ahs. Right. Just be in a meeting and just pay attention to the person that's speaking. And you would be surprised the number of times you hear the speaker say things like, so, which is really distracting.
It's most of the politicians.
They're terrible at that. They're terrible at that. So as I went on, and Toastmasters, as I said, has really helped me in that particular area, but it really has helped my confidence level. One of the main reasons I got back into Toastmasters, one of my dreams is I would love to be an inspirational speaker. And when I asked myself, so what am I doing about it? My answer was nothing. So I decided the first step was at least get back into Toastmasters and start to polish my skills. So one of the things that I've been doing since I've been back in is I've been participating in competitions, which has been just fantastic as far as my confidence level of getting up and making presentations. So 2017, I made it all the way to what is called our district level and won that, and was sent to Vancouver, Washington to compete with 100 other people from around the world for the top title of being World Champion of Public Speaking.
Congrats. Now, do they pay you to go there? Do they send you?
They did. They actually would pay for all of our flights there and participate in the 10 semifinals, and then the winner of each of those that next day competed in the finals. Yeah.
What did it feel like?
It was almost feeling like you were a star to some degree.
You are a star. You are a star. You're a star.
I remember the night that we had the competition here in Minnesota for what at the time it was called District 6, which covered most of the state of Minnesota and about half of Ontario. And the 10 of us were each giving our speeches and then going on the stage, and you feel the connection that you make with the people in the audience. You know, when there's a laugh or sharing something that is really emotional, and you see people kind of sitting on the edge of their seats. It was just almost like a high for me. So then having the opportunity to go to the semifinals, unfortunately I didn't win by semifinals, but I walked away from there more confident than I did before I got there. Because I saw, you know what, I believe I can compete with all these individuals that are here.
Can people come and see that, or what? Or do you have to be part of
that one I'm not sure that they can become a part of, but if a person's company...
Bring some hidden cameras in there, folks.
but you know, if a company would like to have me come in and speak to their audience, I'm available to do those kinds of things.
And what number would they get you at again? Because we got about 30 seconds.
Sure. That one you can contact me at 612-965-0664.
Right. Okay. Mark, thank you for sharing and coming on Motivation.
And I appreciate the invitation.
Yes, definitely. It was my pleasure. Folks at home, on that note, we're going to close out Motivation. I want to thank you for watching, and all that you do is stay fit, stay blessed, and remember this: you can be a CEO. And what is a CEO? That is somebody that consistently empowers others. We'll see you next time on Motivation. Stay fit, gang. Thank you. Good job.